What I'd like to demonstrate is how I use AI within my workflow. I want to really demonstrate that AI is not going to do the work for you, at least not in its current state as it stands of the time of creating this video. Majority of the work will be done as it always has been, that is, by you, and the AI will then just be to connect the dots together and help with the finishing touches. AI tends to take the role more so of a really talented but a really dumb assistant. I would like to show very practical use cases for AI and not focus so much on what tools I use, more so about the methods I use and how the tools come into play. I have a background as a professional digital and 3D artist, mainly a 3D generalist, so I use tools like 3D Studio Max and Photoshop. I've worked in companies working on animation and doing things such as package design, graphic design. I've also dabbled with things like video production and my lifelong passion of doing music production. So those developed skills do come into play at some point within the creation of my projects. These videos are more intended for the tech-savvy artist types. So with that said, my personal main focus will be on character design and character development. I really want to tell my stories from the perspective of characters, not so much about world building, although there will be a little bit of that. I like to build my world from the characters upwards or outwards. No matter what approach you're taking, whether that's world building or you're more focused on prop design or that storytelling you're more focused on, in the end, we're all facing the same challenge. And with AI, the challenge is consistency. And that's consistency from character consistency. That's consistency as far as clothing and outfits for the characters. We need consistency as far as environments that the characters are in. And the second challenge we face is control. So that's controlling what outfit the character is wearing, controlling what actions the character is doing. As far as my process is concerned, for me, it came down to pure brute force. What that means is you are the driving force behind the vision at every step and every stage of the process. AI is only there to help you at periodic stages through the process. It will help you to concept. It will help you to create some of the raw images or the raw materials, and they're being processed through your vision, through your hands. Let's get started with the development of my original character, Laura Latent. So now, the point of this character is to be somewhat of a mascot or a brand ambassador for my AI journey, let's say. And it's very important that this character always has the same look. And as far as control is concerned, I have to be able to control the look. For example, whether I want her to be wearing the same clothes or have her wearing different clothes to represent a certain concept or idea. I will be using her for music videos, for vlog content, and she'll be somewhat of a virtual personality, a virtual influencer, or as I like to refer to her as my AI alter ego or my AI virtual persona. Brute force. This is what I mean. You'll become more of a Photoshop artist or whatever image editing tool of your choice is than you are an AI artist. All the content that is fed into the AI normally stems from being manipulated. Even though it might be created in AI, I then bring it into a photo editing software to make adjustments or corrections where the AI fell short. Let me give you a quick overview of my entire process from start to the end. I start by creating an image of a character, and this is the conceptual stage. I then bring the chosen character into Photoshop in its raw stage and create what I call a digital paper doll. So the purpose of creating this paper doll is that it gives you the ability to adjust, dress, and stage the look of your character. This asset is a reusable asset, so you can use it over and over and over again till infinity, and that's the whole point of creating this. This will be considered as your master character file. This file will be the file that creates every version of your character from this point on. The irony of it is that even though the character's name is Laura, I tend not to use any Laura training in my process. I've tried Laura's, and at this point, they're still not as exact and as consistent as I would like them to be. A Laura is a data set that you use to train an AI model. So you use several images, you feed it into an AI and say train on this look. I've tried it with multiple images of the character wearing the same clothing so that I could get the same look, but I found it's quite expensive to do as far as credit usage. I found that instead of creating a whole bunch of images to feed into a training model, the same exact images that you'd use, you could just use them as the images to turn to videos directly. Once the master character file is created, you can pretty much use it in any scenario, wearing any outfit, having any look that you desire. It'll take a little bit of work, but in the end, it'll be worth it. You'll have the highest level of consistency and control of your character than in any other way. With that said, the AI will always be fighting against you, trying to hallucinate and change the look of your character. But this is the way that you will have a little bit more control over how you want it to look. I'll wrap up this video, and in the next video, I'll try to go deeper on the fine details of this character development process.